All right, so are you ready to dive into some juicy content?
Always. Hit me with it.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of dating after 30.
Oh, the over 30 dating scene. I'm intrigued already.
We're wading through the good, the bad, and the awkward of dating over 30, and let me tell you, there's a lot to unpack.
I bet. I mean, it's a whole different ballgame from the college dating days, right?
Totally. We're talking about people navigating past relationships, career pressures, and yeah, that whole biological clock thing.
Right. You're not just two young and clueless kids anymore. Everyone is bringing a lot more baggage.
And experience,
Yeah.
which honestly can be both exciting and intimidating. Like, one post that really stuck with me asked if dating over 30 is harder because people are just more closed-minded. What do you think?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It makes you wonder, is it really closed-mindedness? Or just, having a better sense of what you want after all those years?
Right, like you've dated enough frogs to know you're not interested in kissing any more toads, so to speak.
Exactly. And honestly, isn't it better to be upfront about those deal breakers?
Yeah.
Saves everyone time and energy in the long run.
I can get behind that. But then
Yeah.
there's this whole debate about someone moving mountains for love. Is that even realistic in this day and age?
It's a romantic notion, right.
Yeah.
But what does that even look like in the real world, especially when you're juggling careers, maybe kids, and all the other complexities of life after 30?
Seriously. And who gets to decide what constitutes a mountain worth moving? What feels like a grand gesture to one person could be a total turnoff to another.
You're telling me. And it's not just about those big romantic gestures either. It's the smaller, everyday compromises that really make or break a relationship.
Totally. Speaking of which, there was this one post about the challenges of dating a doctor. And whoa, talk about demanding schedules. Makes you wonder how anyone in those high-pressure jobs finds the time to date, let alone maintain a relationship.
Absolutely. And it's not just doctors, right? Anyone with a demanding career, entrepreneurs, artists, even podcast hosts like yourself, it takes a special kind of person to handle that.
It's true. Sometimes I feel like I'm married to my microphone. But you know what surprised me? There was actually a really heartwarming story in the subreddit about two people who met on Datingoverthirty and ended up getting married.
Wow, a real-life Reddit love story. That's amazing. It
Yeah.
gives you hope, right?
It does. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Not every online encounter leads to wedding bells.
There was this one post that really made me think about those deeper levels of compatibility. The stuff that can really make or break a relationship in the long run.
Totally.
Like what?
So this person was dating this guy, things were going great, and then boom, she finds out he's a pastor, which, hey, no judgment, but apparently he'd had a bit of a wild past.
Oh, wow. That's quite a curveball.
Yeah.
And it really highlights why those bigger conversations about values, about faith, about life goals,
Yeah.
those need to happen sooner rather than later.
Right. Like, how do you even bring those things up on a first date without scaring the other person off? Do you just lay all your cards on the table right away?
It's a delicate dance for sure. You want to be authentic, but you don't want to overwhelm them with, like, a PowerPoint presentation on your religious beliefs on date one. Yeah, maybe skip the slideshow on the first date.
Definitely. It's about finding that balance, right? Like, how do you ease into those conversations without freaking them out?
Honestly, I think it's about being open to those organic moments, when the conversation naturally flows in that direction.
I can see that. But it's not just those big existential questions, is it? I mean, the subreddit was full of these surprisingly specific compatibility tests. It's like, forget religion and politics. Can you agree on the thermostat setting?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
The little things. Temperature preferences, how much personal space you need, even your sleep schedules, those can become major battlegrounds.
You're telling me. I once dated someone who kept their apartment at a cool 80 degrees in the summer. Let's just say it didn't end well.
Oh, I believe it. And what's fascinating is how those seemingly small things often reveal deeper needs and values.
Like what?
Well, take the temperature thing. Maybe that person is super anxious about feeling cold, or they have a medical condition, or someone who's really messy might have a different relationship with boundaries and control.
It's true. It's rarely about the dishes in the sink. It's about what it says about your overall compatibility.
Exactly. And those can be so hard to compromise on because you're basically negotiating how you each function in a shared space, in a shared life.
So true. Which brings us to another minefield: communication styles. Seriously, is it just me, or is deciphering text messages the new emotional Olympics?
Oh, tell me about it. The digital age has definitely added a whole new layer of complexity to dating.
It's like everyone is speaking in this secret code. He used a period instead of an exclamation point. What does it mean?
And don't even get me started on emojis. Are they flirting? Are they being sarcastic? Who knows?
It's exhausting. And I think part of it is that texting strips away all those nonverbal cues we rely on in face-to-face interactions.
Exactly. You can't hear their tone of voice, you can't see their body language, so we end up projecting our own insecurities onto these blank screens.
It's true. Suddenly a K feels like a punch in the gut, so what's the solution? Should we all just go back to writing letters? Carrier pigeons?
Now you're talking. But in all seriousness, I think it comes down to clear, direct communication. If you're feeling unsure, ask. If you need more reassurance, say so.
It's like, just use your words. Revolutionary, I know.
Right. But seriously, vulnerability is key. And that's something that came up a lot in these Reddit posts. The struggle to be vulnerable, to put yourself out there when dating, especially after 30.
It's scary. You're putting your heart on the line, hoping it doesn't get trampled on again.
Absolutely. There was one question that really stuck with me. Someone asked, do women feel unattracted or afraid when a man shows significant interest? I mean, wow.
It's like that fear of coming on too strong, right?
Yeah.
But also not wanting to seem uninterested. It's a delicate balance.
It really is. It's like we're all walking this tightrope between being open and guarded, hoping we don't fall flat on our faces.
It's tough out there. It really is like that game, red light, green light. You're both standing there frozen, too afraid to make the next move.
I love that analogy.
Huh.
But it makes you wonder, at what point do we just say, forget it, I'm going to be myself, take it or leave it?
Right. Shouldn't we be past all that by the time we're over 30? I mean, we've had our hearts broken. We've learned a thing or two about ourselves. You'd think we'd be more comfortable in our own skin by now.
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But maybe the stakes just feel higher. Like when you're younger, there's less pressure.
That's true. It's like, oh, this didn't work out. No big deal. I've got plenty of time to meet someone else. But after 30, it's like the clock is ticking a little louder.
Totally. You're not just looking for someone to hang out with on the weekends. You're looking for a partner, a life companion, maybe even a co-parent.
So yeah, suddenly those past relationship traumas feel a lot closer to the surface.
And it's easy to let those past experiences make us jaded, make us want to protect ourselves from getting hurt again. But the thing is, vulnerability is not a weakness.
Preach. It's terrifying, but it's also what makes us human.
Exactly. And it's the foundation for real intimacy. Because you can't build a genuine connection without letting someone see the real you, flaws and all.
It's like, stop trying to be the perfect version of yourself and just show up as you are, take it or leave it.
Yes. Because the right person will appreciate you for all of it. The good, the bad, the messy, the beautiful.
And honestly, that kind of authenticity is contagious. When you show up as your true self, it gives other people permission to do the same.
100%. It creates a ripple effect of genuine connection. And who knows, maybe that's how we start to shift the whole dating culture, make it less about playing games and more about real human connection.
I'm here for it. And speaking of genuine connection, we have to circle back to that heartwarming Reddit love story we talked about earlier. It's proof that even with all the craziness of online dating, sometimes love finds a way.
It's like a beacon of hope, right? A reminder that happy endings are still possible.
They really are. Well, as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of hair dating over 30, I think the big question we're left with is, how does the anonymity of the internet affect the way we give and receive advice about love and relationships?
That's a really interesting question. It makes you think, right? Because on one hand, anonymity can be incredibly freeing.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you can share things online that you might not feel comfortable telling your closest friends.
Exactly. You can be vulnerable, ask for advice without fear of judgment.
But then again, that same anonymity can also bring out the worst in people.
It's true. It's easy to forget that there's a real person on the other side of the screen, someone who might be struggling with the same dating dilemmas we are.
It's a good reminder to be kind, even when you're hiding behind a username. Well, I think that's a wrap for today's deep dive.
It's been real, always fascinating to explore the ups and downs of modern dating.
Until next time, keep those conversations going, and remember to be kind to yourselves and each other out there in the digital dating jungle.